So if you hold it down in one spot and then turn it with your other hand, you can get it to come out.
So that's the washer then, isn't it?
The dryer.
No.
Oh, the washer on the pipe. I thought you meant because my drying machine's broken.
No, oh, is it dry broke as well? Oh, for God's sake. Hey, lovely listeners, and welcome back to the How I Failed in Business podcast, where every week we are sharing some of the... Hey, lovely listeners. I read it like buggest.
Buggest.
The buggest.
Is that your problem with my cursive?
The buggest business blunders. Hello, lovely listeners, and welcome back to the How I Failed in Business podcast, where every week we're sharing some of the biggest business blunders, from minor mess-ups to major mistakes. We are here for it all. We laugh, we cry. Sometimes we cry laughing. I've said that wrong, haven't I? And occasionally we learn. As always, I'm Rob Spence with...
Sophia Grace.
Now today we're taking a deep dive on Matt Brown, whose episode came out on Tuesday. But before we go on to that, how do you feel about your birthday coming up in 2 days, Sophia?
Oh my gosh. You know, the imminent death and dread that fills me with is just one step closer, but I also get to eat cake, so
is that just because of
whole
your
of
age?
life? Yeah.
Oh no.
It's I'm officially aging now.
I could have told you that from the day one we met, to be honest. But look, everything happens, you know, everything goes well after that age, the big number that you're going to be hitting.
Yeah, we won't say what
We're not
number
going to say
it
it.
is.
We're not going to say it. Don't worry. But you know, look, I remember the time I turned that age, and it was
a fair few years ago.
Thanks. It was scary, isn't it? But so, what cake are you going to get? Like a caterpillar cake? Do you know what cake
I
you're gonna
love
get?
a caterpillar cake.
Who doesn't love a caterpillar cake?
I love caterpillar. Oh, yeah. Do you know what? I said that I'm not a massive cake person because I'm a savoury over sweet.
Oh, really?
Girl, yeah.
Okay.
But I will do a cake on my birthday, but I'm partial to a coffee and walnut cake because it's not sweet.
Coffee and walnut.
And
yeah.
that's me. And you know how many coffees I get down me in a day.
I think we need to talk about that at some stage because I've never, and it's not just coffee, it's iced coffee. You drink it like it's a smoothie. Every time I'll sort of go and get myself coffee, and I'll also get Rob a coffee because I'm an amazing employee. But I come back and you're like, oh, thank you. A pint of iced coffee is exactly what I wanted. And then I sort of look at the glass and I'm like, oh yeah, that is quite full, isn't it? You fill up. There's no. Have we used up the 2 cartons?
No, there's a little bit of one left, like
Okay,
half a glass.
right. So I bought 2-litre cartons just yesterday, I think it was. Brought them in, and now they're nearly gone.
I'm a big coffee fan.
But so for your birthday, obviously as a team, we're going out to the Leicester Riders.
We are.
Tomorrow night.
Obviously, this will be going out much later after my birthday. But yeah, we've been to the basketball.
They won.
They won. I'm manifesting it, putting it out into the universe.
Like manifestation.
Hey, don't tell. They'll be in the comments. You know what those people are like. But yeah, and then got some plans in London also.
Nice.
Some birthday plans with the gang.
Oh, lovely. So, as we alluded to on an earlier podcast, I've got you some presents.
Yes.
So one you know about, one you don't know about.
Yeah, one you unveiled on the podcast, but the other one I've got no clue.
When do I give you the one that you know?
Tomorrow.
Do you want it tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Me tomorrow.
That's fine. So the other present, I think you're going to love. I've put a lot of thought into it. It took so much research. I hope I'm not overselling it because I don't want you to like get it and be like, oh, I don't
I don't know how you topped the first one, but I'm very excited.
I think this one. Okay, I'll give you some clues. Okay, so this gift, it's personal. It's probably not as personal as the crayons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still just as thoughtful. Like, there's a reason why I've bought you this, and it does relate to you and who you are and what you stand for. Ooh. And so, it's not just like a gift off, you know, as the shelves, just because I ran out of ideas. There was a lot of thought going into it. It'll keep you entertained for a good while, and I think will, to some degree, make you feel at home. That's what I'm going with.
Oh, that's a very good tease. I'm very excited to see it.
So I apologise it's not here, but obviously by the time this recording goes out,
I'll have had it for a month.
When is this going out? Yeah, good, a long while. But I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
All the same.
We'll keep you updated. If I hate it, I'll break it and post
really
it on the Instagram. We will reveal though.
We will. But Sophia, I've done a boo-boo.
You've done a boo-boo.
I've done a boo-boo.
You did quite a large boo-boo.
I mean, one would say average size boo-boo. It wasn't massive. But so you were away for a few days, and
I left you unsupervised for a couple of days.
Can we learn that that's never a good idea at some stage? But I thought, you know what, I'll quickly mock up some marketing material to push the podcast and to push, the guests and to talk about the guests. And we have shared an image to our Instagram, and
oh boy, did we!
And the thing is, do you know what's annoyed me about this boo-boo? Is I looked at that image so many times because I was adjusting sizes, I was adjusting people a little bit. So it's a collage of, that's a lovely word. I've not used the word collage since I was in school. Wow. It was a collage of people, and, I've had to really, because I didn't want people to be like, oh, I'm not that big, I'm not that small, he's taller than me. So I've really tried to join them all together. And so I've looked at it so many times, and I've not noticed anything until, who noticed it first?
Me.
Did you notice it?
Yeah. Because I came in, it's one of the things, when I came back into the office, I was like, not to be a pain.
What is this?
What the fuck is this?
So look, with that, I don't think we should reveal what it is, right? It affects one of our good guests.
A great guest. An unfortunate punishment for a really great guest.
And do you know what, actually, I've just realised that makes it 10 times worse, because this blunder affects a guest that we've had on. Not aired yet. Dare I say, but he will be on. So, Luke,
yeah,
we apologise.
So we're really sorry.
We are so sorry. I apologise. I hope you see the funny side of it. But what we urge you to do, head on over to our Instagram, look at the photo that went out recently of a collage of people, and just zoom in. Just
have a little zoom, and see if you can detect perhaps the error in editing.
Yeah, and once you find it, send us a message, let us know. Maybe just send us a DM, put it in your story. But yeah, it goes to show that maybe I shouldn't be left unsupervised.
No. I will say I am perhaps overly critical of any art that gets produced for the Instagram.
Just art? You're overcritical over everything.
Look, I like to call it attention to detail.
Okay, valid point. And I think that's why we work well together, because you've got good attention to detail, and I just rush everything.
You do, but I think you pull me along, and I hit the brakes, and together it works quite well.
I'll take that.
The push and pull.
So go head on over to our Instagram channel. I don't even know what our handle is. Is it just How I Failed in Business podcast? I don't know. Yeah. Go have a look. Zoom in on the image. Zoom in particular on Luke. Potentially under his belt. And you'll see what has gone wrong. But maybe we should transition.
Yeah, it's going to be a very smooth transition after that.
It is.
To our wonderful guest. This is another one which unfortunately I wasn't yet in the business.
You weren't here for this.
Which I'm very sad, because a really, really great episode, and really, really funny.
He was
really funny.
Honestly, Matt. So I've known Matt. So Matt Brown is the guest we're going to be overviewing today. I've known Matt Brown, goodness, since I was 12 or 13.
Young whippersnapper,
all those 50 years ago. And, Matt has become, goodness, like a really close friend. At times, I'd call him, the cool uncle and so on. And look, it was a funny episode. I love Matt because I met Matt at a time when I was going through like some really hardships in my young life, and Matt was a local youth worker. And to this day, I'll always say that I was at like a transition in my life where either I could have gone off the rails and been a little knobhead.
Thank God you didn't take that path.
Oh no, that's the one I've gone on. Or I could have been at least semi-decent, and Matt really.
Thank God you didn't do that.
I know. Matt really helped me with that, and we always have a good laugh, and I've raised some money for. So Matt, I should probably explain, is the CEO of a charity called the Reality Youth Project, and is also. I forget what his job title is, but he does something with the Grace Foundation. I should probably know what his job title is, but two great charities that do some great work. And look, it was a shame that you weren't there, because actually, do you know what? I'm glad you weren't there, because since then He's another one of these people that has just been full of praise for you. It's becoming like a real bugbear of mine. But look, of course, please do go check out the episodes. It came out on Tuesday. You can see the full video on YouTube. And of course, it's available here on this platform as an audio. But shall we listen? We've got 4 sound bites today. Shall we make a... Shall we
spoil for choice?
Dive in. Let's press play on this.
You did lots of brilliant fundraising for us, including falling off your bike and breaking your collarbone.
I mean, just to make clear for the audience, the challenge wasn't to fall off.
No,
and get in.
That wasn't the idea.
You were supposed to stay on the bike and reach the final destination.
You did reach the final destination, but with a broken collarbone.
Via, I think it was Basildon, wasn't it? Basildon Hospital, I think, ended up in.
It was. But, we bought you home.
But how much money did that extra...
A lot.
As soon as I came off, donations went up.
Yeah,
So, Rob had a boo-boo.
I had another boo-boo. The big boo-boo. The most painful boo-boo of my life.
Tell me about this, because I didn't know about this.
Did you not?
No.
So this is why you'd never... So my left pec is deformed. Because...
So I've been hearing.
Because it's not really, deformed's probably a strong word, but it's not as developed. Because so basically I snapped my collarbone, and I've got a photo somewhere you can see like it's literally snapped in two. So like I said, I love Matt, and I love Reality Youth Project, and they were buying at the time they wanted to buy a double-decker bus to turn it into a mobile youth centre.
Brilliant.
To go around the local villages, give young people a safe place to hang out. They wanted to deck it out with Xboxes, PlayStations, there was DJ decks, a nail bar, to drinks and all that kind of thing, just to get
wonderful
kids off the street.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to ride a bike for as long and as hard as and far as I can. And long story short, we decided that Canterbury would be the place to go.
Oh yeah.
It transpired that the bus they wanted to buy, right? This is whether it's fate, the universe, whatever, right? We discovered that from Council, the village we are based in, down to Canterbury was 165 miles. The number on the bus was the number 165. Can you believe it?
The universe at play.
Exactly. So we set off in Canterbury. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. We set off from Canterbury Cathedral. And there's a video of this on YouTube as well, by the way. And we're cycling. We just crossed the Thames. So we just got into London, crossed the Thames. Obviously, we didn't cycle over the Thames because that would have been stupid. And I remember, I'll be honest, I was getting a bit mardy. Okay.
Oh, I'm shocked. Floored on the floor.
Because I think we were a bit behind in schedule. The idea was we'd come back into the village. At the village hall, all our family and friends would be there, with drinks to celebrate. So I was constantly checking on time. And I remember we just crossed the Thames. We were going down this hill. And I was looking behind, and the guys weren't there. I had one friend, Ollie, just sitting on my wheel behind me, and everyone else wasn't there. And I kept looking around. And before you know it, the road had started to bend round to the right, which I hadn't noticed. So I've looked back, and then I've turned back to face forward, and I've seen that this curb is, meandering round to the right. I've hit the brakes. Front brake is locked on. We were going downhill, so I would have been doing around 25, 26 miles an hour. Front brake's locked. I've gone yeet over the handlebars. Now, I swear to you, right, in my head in that moment, I didn't want to land with my hands out because I knew I'd stab my collarbone.
Yeah.
So I thought the best thing to do would be to land on my back.
Oh, they always say land on your back.
They always say land on your back because it's the most, it's the strongest part of the body. So I've spun round mid-air, but I've literally, all my weight has just landed on this left shoulder. Snapped my collarbone, and the agony. But it was funny. I got really high on gas and air.
I love gas and air.
Why have you taken gas and air?
For my knee.
What? When?
When I dislocated
Did
my
you really?
knee.
Oh my God, it's so good.
No, 7-8 times I've done it.
Do you do it on purpose just to get gas and air?
Do you know what? No, this is quite a long story. I won't tell it now.
What, the knee?
Yeah.
We'll save the knee story
We'll
for
save the
another day.
knee. But I'm a big fan of gas and air.
It was so good. And I remember, I 100% got so high. But then basically, I held the team up. I was like, look, just go. I got into the back of an ambulance. They took me to Basildon Hospital. I was in Basildon Hospital by myself, didn't know anyone. And then some strange woman who knew the charity came and picked me up and to bring me back to Leicester. She had to come from Leicester to Essex to take me back. But luckily, we managed to catch up with the support van that we had and cheer everyone on. But yeah, it was the most painful experience of my life. But we raised, I think on that trip alone, after I broke my collarbone, we had £3,000 worth of donations come in. I was gutted. There's photos of me at the end, and I'm just so sad because I'm cut, I'm bruised. got my arm in a sling. I'm in absolute pain. Do you know what the stupidest thing is, though?
What?
So we got back to the village. So have you ever been to, you know where the co-op is in the village?
Yeah.
So cycled back into there. I got out of the van and said, no, I'm cycling in for the last bit. So I'm cycling in.
Trooper.
And, solid Spence. And I obviously, I clipped in, so I'd got clip-in shoes. Yeah. And we were cycling to the village hall. And I was like, guys, how am I going to stop? Because I only had one hand and you all clipped in. So they had to, we got to the village hall and they like just assembled themselves around me to just catch me as I landed into them. But you'll be pleased to know the subsequent year we cycled from Council down to Canterbury in one go, might I add. And I did it. I did it without falling off.
Well done.
So
Extremely proud of you.
So yeah, look, boo-boos happen. Boo-boos happen. So Sophia, would you ever fancy joining me on a bike ride one day?
Absolute. I would love to join you on a bike ride, Rob. Just give me a couple months.
Why a couple of months?
Because I can't ride a bike.
I'm shocked.
I can't ride a bike. No, I will say that is about to change.
Okay.
Because for Christmas, my partner did buy me a bike.
Oh, okay. So you've got one.
I was bought a bike. So literally in a couple of weeks, by the time this podcast has started, if by the time this podcast comes out, I've had my first bike lesson, I will post pictures. And if I fall, I will post pictures.
I am shocked because that's like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Sophia.
Yeah.
You think you can learn to ride a bike in that time?
I think I can get on a bike in that time.
Have you ever seen the episode of Friends where Phoebe's learning to ride a bike?
It's just something that I never did. I think actually I remember this when everyone took their sort of school cycling proficiency. I think that is a thing that everyone will understand what I'm talking about. My mum wrote a letter into the school saying, I think it would actually be detrimental for Sophia to do these lessons because she's so incredibly petrified. And do you know why? I was trying to learn and I was sort of driving around the estate that we lived in and I drove my bike into a parked car. A parked car. So yeah, I was really, really horrific.
I mean, the fact that you've been saying "drived my bike,"
rode my bike, pedalled my bike,
proves that.
But yeah, I have a very cute bike. I have a little blue bike with a little basket on it.
Does it have stabilizers?
Do you know what?
Does it have stabilizers? Does it have stabilizers?
It doesn't. But obviously I was bought this bike as a present, which was a really, really amazing gift. And I did say to my partner Isaac, do you think this is too grown up of a bike to be able to attach stabilizers? Because I'm not above it. I'm not above stabilizers.
Right, we're going to need, on behalf of all of our listeners, we're going to need some evidence of you learning to ride the bike.
I will give you can have evidence, and if I fall, you can still have evidence.
Thank you very. We need photos. We need videos.
Well, you said we could drive down.
We could drive, could we?
Right, we could ride our bikes down.
Yeah, we'll
thingy.
Yeah, we'll commute in together.
Yeah.
I'll be a little cycling buddy to help you out. Just don't take me for advice for falling off, though, because...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm not riding my bike with you, loser.
I'm too fast anyway. I wouldn't be able to keep up. But, right, shall we listen to the next soundbite?
Oh, please.
About maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, the church unfortunately suffered an infestation of blue bottles. And there was several conversations about where on earth have all these flies come from? I think we're going to have to get some of them. They're just everywhere. And every time we come in, there's more flies. And me being a very responsible kind of leader of the youth team and of the charity, just ran away. I never said anything to anyone because I was like, I know exactly where those blue bottles have come from. Because the maggots, as well as going in Haley's mouth, had fallen in between the little cracks in the floor and had created the blue bottle infestation. Like, it was horrific. It's happened more than once, that kind of
What
thing.
do you mean it's happened? We're supposed to learn from these mistakes.
Yeah, there's other things happen. That was my biggest triumph /
Oh, gosh. Maggots in a church hall.
Maggots.
Did you hear the full story as to what happened?
No, I was just about to say, how does this story begin? So I feel like we're hearing the tail end.
That is definitely the tail end. So what Matt alludes to in the podcast is that apparently he invented bush tucker trials, okay, before Ant and Dec, okay. that's still up for debate whether that's true or not. But in a local church, they were, doing a summer youth group or, camp. And this Hayley he mentioned, the challenge was to eat the most disgusting things they could find.
Yes.
Obviously didn't want the kids to eat them, so they got the youth leaders to do it. Hayley has gone ahead and eaten some maggots. Fair play. Well done, Hayley.
Well done, Hayley.
Rather you than me.
Yeah.
And obviously some have just unleashed upon themselves. As I titled the thing, A Biblical Plague.
A biblical plague.
I'm sure it is in the Bible somewhere.
That is very clever from you. I like that.
See, I'm not just a pretty face, but that is vile. Do you know what I love most about Matt Brown? Because how he admitted just running away.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, it takes a brave man to admit that they ran away. It takes a cowardly man to run away.
But yeah, the thing is, from what he said, is no one knew about that story until it's just come on live.
I like that we're getting some of the exclusive scoops here.
100%. Listen, if you're a future guest on our podcast, we want exclusives.
I can't do insects, bugs. That's not something that I can handle.
So, if a spider ran across the desk now?
No.
Really?
I used to be petrified. I used to be awful. I've gotten a little bit better. And when I say a little bit better, I mean if there's now... the cellar spiders, one with the tiny bodies and really long legs.
Yes.
If one of those is in my bathroom, I can still use the bathroom.
You can work around it, yeah.
But I'm awful. I hate them.
See,
I despise them.
You surprise me so much because you come across as a really...
tough cookie.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but oh no. But so if we were to do a bush tucker trial and we had maggots, locusts, crocuses...
Cockroaches.
Crocuses are a flower. Yeah.
I'd eat them.
Would you do that?
See, here's the thing. You got to start talking to me about the green. How much you paying me? For free?
Just for laughs.
Not for laughs. Not for laughs. But there is a monetary amount, I can tell you.
Okay, what's the bunts? What's it going to take?
Quite a few zeros.
Okay, well look, maybe one day we'll do a charity challenge, and we'll reach out to our listeners, and if we can raise some great money for charity, we want to see you.
We go to Pets at Home, or we can get some.
Oh, you'd go live. I was going to go Dry and Dead, but if you want to go live,
I think they do Dry and Dead there.
No.
No, okay.
We took it as live. Obviously you've worked in a few places now. You've worked here. You've worked, here, there, and everywhere.
I have worked here, there, and everywhere.
What's the grossest? Please don't mention anything here, but
no, you're winning. I'll tell you that.
What, in terms of cleanliness or grossness?
Yeah.
Really?
No cleanliness. I think I've gone into a little bit about this. That my initial sort of workplaces were hospitality. That's sort of what I did. I did just standard bar work, and then ended up as an events manager at a chain of bars and clubs. But just behind the bar. Disgusting.
Really?
Disgusting. And I just really, really do believe that if people knew how deeply unclean the places that they were getting their drinks and food from were, you'd never eat out again.
Oh, I can imagine. I was in the sauna. I was having a sauna moment last night with a gentleman, nothing like that. And we were just chatting, and we were talking about fan club in town.
Oh, yes. I know it well.
You just get stuck to the floor.
I was having a conversation about a bar, did that club just the other day. That's
really
so random, yeah.
It's weird. Yeah.
But yeah, I am one of the bars that I worked at. I obviously won't say which one. It was in a really old building, a really gorgeous building. But obviously old buildings come with their host of problems. So there was little things like the ceiling would leak, there's bits where there's damp coming through on the walls, sort of small problems that you wouldn't necessarily need to or be able to fix. The biggest problem with these kinds of buildings is infestations of rats and mice. So without going into too much detail, it wasn't a problem for the kitchen. It was purely a problem for the bar. And I remember one day I came into work, and I used to open quite a lot. And my manager came up to me and was like, so there are obviously some mouse traps down. And they just went, one of them is full. No, there's a mouse, just one of them is full. And they said, I'm just telling you now, because when you go over near it, don't scream. Because you can't, so it's absolutely fine to have these traps. Yeah. You have to have them. You don't get shut down just because you need to have them.
Yeah, yeah.
But they were humane mouse traps.
Oh, so they're still alive?
It's alive.
Oh, no.
They're alive. And you can see in, because obviously you have to be able to see if it's full. And it was unfortunately right by the waiter station, which is where you're handling the food.
So you were literally handling food with these live mice?
Yeah. And it was vile.
Is this the place I'm thinking of?
I think it very well might be. Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I've been behind the bar as well. And I was going to say it's sticky as hell. It's stickier than Fan Club Bar.
But do you know what? That's just bars. That's just bars. Yeah. You can mop that floor 5 times and step on it and it's sticky.
Things like syrups and alcohol.
Oh, yeah. It's like loads of like sugar syrup in it. It's horrid. And that's standard, really.
So, because obviously you don't like insects, were you okay with the mice? And
no, I felt so. That's why it was kind of brought up to me, because it was like, God, tell Sophia, because otherwise she'll panic.
Yeah. What would you do if there was like a rat in the room now?
Oh my goodness. Do you know what? I'd probably be all right because I'd be able to leave. Right. It's more so if no one else was in. Yeah. And all of a sudden I've got to deal with this bloody rat.
So I told you about my story about my cat bringing in just mice and just allowing them to live.
Yeah.
She's an idiot. Were you a part of the group chat when the mouse just fell out
with the cornflakes?
Yeah. Outrageous. Did this tell you about the shrew that was in my bedroom the other day?
No.
Oh, I've got a tiny shrew just running around my bedroom.
Oh my goodness.
I could hear like a rustling coming from a laundry basket. And I was like, oh no, that doesn't sound
That's
good.
Not promising.
So how would you deal in that, like... Would you panic at that moment?
I also have a cat.
Yeah.
It's brought in before. The mice and stuff is sort of fair game. They don't massively freak me out. We used to get heads on the doorstep, which was a real mafia thing. Yeah. But the worst thing for me was a live pigeon.
Oh no, I've had a live bird.
A live pigeon. You don't realise pigeons are huge. They're so big. And that was awful because if it was dead, you'd know what to do. You just get it out the house.
Yeah.
It was so close, but not quite. And it was just really trying to fly. And that was really disgusting. I think just because when I think of them, I'm like, oh, they're filthy.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And in the end, we just sort of came to the point where we were like, let the cat just sort of finish it
off.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It was really awful.
Well, at least your cat will finish it off. Mine, it's just like...
They're too kind.
It's just like, it's like they want to pet themselves. Although once, I've had a couple of birds in, one that was just flying around the place and one that was like really, shouldn't really laugh, sorry RSPB and whatever they're called, but it was really badly injured. Managed to put it in a shoebox and I looked after it for a little while and it seemed to like, it was back on its feet and it was fine. And I took it outside, took it onto and I've got a video of it, so I'll have to show you. And it's in the shoebox. And I've just gone, right, bird, fly. And I've thrown the bird out of this box using the box. And it's just not flown. It's just gone splat. So I apologise, any birds.
Yeah, any PETA members.
Yeah, I tried.
Sorry.
I tried to support it. But, I put it in a bush with some water.
It's always our desire to be kind. But
We try. But a quick story from me. Although I worked in food, we didn't have any, mice or rats. We used to have a little family of robins. Oh. No, sorry, it wasn't a robin. It was like a little sparrow. Oh, but we had like a little. I'll show you the videos. We had like a little smoke. The little smoking boxes outside.
Yeah.
And you could hear the nice little tweeting, and this little bird had just made a nest in there. And I used to be able to put my because you couldn't look at him because of how it was. I used to put my phone in, see all these little birds like that. Right, on to the next one. So that was the end of that story. There wasn't much else to say. Right, on to the next one. Let me just rewind a little bit, I think.
And I thought sometimes it's about dealing with the maggots before they become flies. Now, I'm not talking about people, because that would be harsh. But sometimes there are things that happen, situations that you come across that are like a little bit, but you just leave them. Because you think, do you know what? If I just leave that alone, nothing bad will happen. But the trouble is, I've learned that over many years of being in a charitable world rather than the business world, lots of similarities. Actually, if you leave some of those little things, they turn into something that is much more difficult.
Wow. What a great metaphor that was.
What an amazing metaphor that was. I love it.
And so Matt has taken this whole blue bottle infestation and somehow whipped it around.
Deal with your maggots before they become fly infestations. I like it.
And I mean, I'm really finding it hard. We should probably tell the viewer that we are like drinking gin, as the listener, I should say. So it's very hard to try and turn this to a serious point, but he has got a very serious point. I
really, really love that. I think that that's really fantastic because I think it's so true. So often when something looks like a little problem or just a slight inconvenience, we're so prone to just sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
That's not a problem for present me. Future me will deal with that. And then future you becomes present you. And you just want to deck yourself in the face.
100%. And you think, if I'd only have done this...
If I'd only have done it, and we've all done it, I think, for me, that was my entire 4 years that I spent in higher education when I left my dissertation to the very last minute. But I mean, we've all
there's so much. There's so much. And I do see it so often in the business world, you know, and actually when you look at like what leaders say and, you know, when you watch like, you know, Jeff Bezos or whoever, they say, you know, you've got to deal with problems as and when they arise. Exactly. And, you know, look, to be frank, you know, Matt said in there, you know, it's not always necessarily people, but the biggest thing I can think of with that is people.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
I think sometimes it sounds like a real weird thing to say and very like dictatorial, but sometimes behaviours, attitudes or ways of working happen. And I've seen so many leaders just go, I don't dare talk to them about that. I don't dare have that communicate. But it gets worse and worse and worse, and you've got harder conversation.
You know, you do see that where maybe employers worried that they're going to ruffle feathers if they bring up an issue, and then instead that issue grows and grows and grows, and it may be that you lose actually a really good part of your team because you weren't willing to address this problem with a different aspect of your team.
Absolutely.
And it's really tricky, but I think we see it with staffing. Obviously you'll see it crop up more, but I think it's almost human nature to not want to acknowledge the issues that you're facing.
100%. And I think like the younger me, I think has been guilty of just allowing things to happen, and then it gets to a point of that breaking point, and you're waiting for that straw that broke the camel's back, and then it's too late. You know, now you've been with our team, you know, what, 2 or 3 months now, whatever. But like you probably would have seen, like we're very quick at nipping things in the bud.
Very quick, very quick.
We just, you know, we know, you know, look, things happen.
If you have a problem in the morning, it's dealt with by the afternoon. Yeah. And I think that that's seldom found in any place of work.
Yeah.
So I think that's very admirable. But
thank you.
It's not something that I employ in my personal life as much as I might appreciate it in my...
I guess for you, the biggest example is like not learning to ride your bike. Now it's a bigger problem.
There we go.
Now it's a bigger problem because now you're going to have to...
And wait till I tell you I can't drive a car.
Oh, that I can understand. And it actually is probably safer for the world.
I always say this. People say, why can't you drive? And I say, because you don't want me to drive. Okay?
I think you can get away without driving, though, like in the modern age and such, you know.
Yes. I'm trying to save the planet.
Don't be like that. There is no angel halo above your head whatsoever.
Not at all.
But we'll put warning signs out when you do start to learn to drive. But yeah, look, deal with the maggots.
Deal with the maggots before they become flies.
100%. And you can tell, look, Matt put that so eloquently, and I love Matt because you can tell Matt spent a lot of time around the church because he's able to just take anything and turn it in some form of parable.
The heathens here can't do that.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. Right, I think we're on to the final one, aren't we?
Yeah.
Is this a long one? This looks like it's 2 minutes.
It is a little.
Is it a long one?
The toner ran out on the photocopier. The other lady who worked in the office who would normally deal with those things wasn't it, but I needed this photocopy obviously urgently. And so I thought, it's fine, I can change the toner. So I found the new toner cartridge. It was back in the old days when toners were in like tubes.
Yes, yeah.
And I opened the photocopier and thought, oh, that's the toner. Pulled it out, but pulled it out a little bit too ferociously. And the whole thing dropped to the floor and up sprung this plume of black dust. And I was like,
oh no.
So
were you covered?
No, I was okay.
Oh, okay.
I was okay. But I sort of tidied up
the
best I could.
Oh, so you didn't run away from this situation like the blue bottles?
Not yet.
Oh.
And so the whole thing, it was all cleared up. It was all fine. Put the new container in, seemed to work.
Yeah.
Following day, I went in, and some of the volunteers in the charity shop said, "Oh, goodness me, everything seems to be covered in a layer of black dust. I wonder where this could have come from." And they were going, "I think," and they were going, "It must be the roadworks outside." And I was going, "Oh yeah, it's outside." So I was like, I don't know what to, and very few people know this. I could be signing my own.
This is you are in trouble.
Yeah. And I think my lesson for that.
Yeah, what's the business lesson?
Always leave like specialist jobs like that, because that's a specialist job to people who know what they're doing.
Experts.
Don't try and do it yourself. Leave it to someone. Don't try and produce a podcast like this don't do it yourself. Leave it to producer Molly.
Producer Molly, you're listening to this. Yeah. Always leave it to producer Molly. Yeah. Matt has got such a good way of just spinning things around.
He really, really does. I like that. And producer Molly, I hope you liked it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out to producer Molly. But he's so good at that. Have you ever because obviously you were handling a lot of bottles and rats and stuff.
I was just sort of thinking, have I ever made a boo-boo like that? The thing is, luckily, it's really actually quite difficult to drop a whole bottle of spirit. Oh my goodness. So
genuinely, I saw my life flash before my eyes.
I just had a wave wash over me. I was thinking, have I ever dropped a bottle of spirit? And they're so heavy. You'd think that that would mean that they're droppable, but it actually means you're kind of very aware of the weight that you're carrying.
Right, yeah.
It's much easier to drop a glass.
Yeah, I get that, yeah.
And I have dropped glasses. I'll tell that story. But first, the only bottle that I've dropped, I did in a spectacular fashion. So I used to work my second ever job. I worked behind a pub.
Right.
Behind a pub?
Just behind the
pub. Don't ask about those days.
Oh my goodness, revelations are coming out today.
I worked behind the bar at a pub. And it used to have, I don't know if you're still even allowed to have these, but it used to have the optics up on the wall. If I say this, I don't know if people are going to know what I mean. But the massive, massive bottles that go up, sort of attached to the wall, and then you click the glass up onto them and the measure directly comes out.
Yeah.
So these bottles are typically maybe 4 or 5 times the size of your typical spirit bottle.
Yeah.
They're very large. You get them a lot in Europe. And we had all of our most bought spirits up on these things, including a massive bottle of Southern Comfort.
Right.
And they run out and you have to change them. Of course, they come full to the brim. Mm-hmm. You then have to flip them upside down in one fell swoop and click them into the kind of measure that it clicks into place. I'm 5 foot fuck all.
I was going to say.
And it's really hard.
You couldn't even close the window, eh?
This bottle weighs as much as me. And I was trying to click it into place. And it just... You literally have seconds to do this. And I could not get it. And I went and I just missed completely. The bottle fell and so did all of the alcohol. And so I quickly switched it back upside down. But I was covered in Southern Comfort, which is so sticky and it stinks. It was in my hair, it was in all my clothes. It was like, not to be TMI, but really, really had sunk through. And the whole bar's covered. And it was maybe 30 minutes into my shift.
Oh, no.
I had the whole night to go. And that
you didn't go home? You just worked through it?
No. Have you ever worked behind a bar? They don't let you go home. Please. No, it was awful. But yeah, that was probably the biggest mess. But in terms of, oh my God, I used to work in a cocktail bar and you're really measured on your sort of speed of service. Everything's very quick.
Yeah.
They have like the exact metrics of how much you've turned around per hour. And so we're all going for speed. And they have the sort of glasses up on the gantry above the bar.
Yeah.
And immediately below the bar, very sensibly, is a massive pool of ice. Smashed glass looks a lot like ice.
Right.
So, I'm not about to tell you a story of when I served someone glass.
Did you serve someone glass?
No, I didn't serve someone glass. But basically, it happens. Anyone that has worked behind a bar will know exactly where I'm going with this. You take the glass off the gantry, glass smashes.
Yeah.
And what you have to do is something called redding the station. So you get your sort of cranberry juice, your strawberry puree, and you cover the ice in it.
Right, I'm with you.
And it's basically a notion to everyone. I've fucked up,
Not
don't
to
touch
use it.
this ice.
Yeah.
And I pulled a gin goblet off the gantry, smashed it at the stem. Bang. Oh my goodness, I've broken it completely. Read the station. You have to take the entire station apart.
Yeah.
Clean it all. I understand. Absolutely, you have to. And I just rebuilt it all. I go to make my next drink after I've put the station back together. Smash the glass. I read the station again, and I'm working with this guy who, bless him, was really smart. But I see him get the ice scoop, go around the red and scoop the ice into the glass. And he was like, but I'm really trying to work quickly. I'm like, there's four stations you could use with glass in this one. But yeah, I think I was very honest in those moments, but I really made a mess.
You are so clumsy. You accuse me of being clumsy.
I can be a real ditz. I used to be a blonde.
Wow, yeah.
And one might argue my soul has remained.
It's just stayed as blonde.
But yeah, that was quite a large little tidbit there.
Oh,
but,
no. See, so Sean, who's just joined the team, I used to work with Sean in a previous life, and Sean was my previous manager. And I remember it was my first night. I was working nights. I was order picking. Never worked nights before. Never worked in a warehouse before. And just order picking, going through the motions, yada yada yada. And I kid you not, I picked we sell fine food ingredients. Picked a bottle of truffle oil off the shelf, white truffle oil as well.
Lovely.
And now this wasn't this was real truffle oil. This was highly scented, really pungent. Yeeted the whole bottle on the floor. And I kid you not, for days, still to this day, I love truffle.
Stinks.
It stinks.
It
Especially
does stink.
250ml bottle. You ask him about it, and he will know about it.
It's got a real smell.
And it was so vile. I felt sick for days because it just stunk the whole warehouse out. Absolute days. And it literally singed itself into my nostrils, into my absolute nostrils. But
we don't have, luckily, those kinds of mishaps here. I think we're as a nice office space. We tend to keep things pretty controlled. I think the most we sort of get is mishaps with sort of coffee and people.
Which is just me. It's only me.
Do you know what it is? It's that door that's just off.
Yeah.
Off. I was about to say off camera, as if there is some sort of camera. What I mean is I can't see it at the minute. But yeah, people like to come in and out of the same door at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And Rob's not very coordinated, and he often gets his coffee knocked out his hands.
Sometimes I don't know if it's just because I'm big. I don't know if it's just because I'm not all there. I don't know if it's because I was dropped on my head as a baby, but sometimes I forget how big my arms are, and I just crash into things. And there's coffee stains on the wall. We had to get carpet cleaners in because there's coffee. Were you here when I spilled just a whole granular coffee on the side?
Yes, I was. When Connor Buckley was about crying downstairs because he had to clean it all up.
Well, hold on. I tried.
You ran away from the crime scene.
I didn't do a Matt Brown. I tried to clean it up, but I just got a bit bored and just left it. But tell me about. I want to hear a little bit more about. I'm just reading our notes, and I can admit that because we've had some gin, so you won't tell me off. But tell me about your bathroom taps, Sophia.
Okay, so I was thinking that this might be a good time to talk about some of our sort of DIYs that we've done. I'm not a DIY person. I'm very much, if there's a professional, call the professional.
Yeah, I get that.
Payment for services rendered, I'm all about it. I currently rent a property.
Yeah.
And so everything that sort of goes wrong with my building, the beauty of that is it's not my problem. my bathroom tap, I have an ensuite bathroom, it was maybe 20 minutes before I had to be into work. And I went to sort of do my final little brush my teeth, turn on the tap, and the tap water starts coming out onto my feet. It just sprays out at the bottom of the sink, and I'm like, oh, I don't know much about plumbing, but I know that's probably wrong. And I was like, oh, for goodness sake. So there's me there, hunched over, getting sprayed down like something out of a movie, all over myself, trying to like figure out how to get this leak to stop. I'm calling Connor Buckley, being like, I'm going to be late into work. It turns out I was actually just being dramatic, and I managed to get it off. But since you get more and more horrified after you hear everything about my house, I wanted to tell you, it's still not fixed.
Is it not? That was weak. I remember that day. You came in so flustered.
I was so incredibly flustered.
So bless Sophia, right? So she's been so proud of this house, and you know, I've seen the house. It's a lovely home. You know, it's gorgeous home. Weird layout, but lovely home. And you know, when she first moved in, she was really selling it. And literally, there was a period of about, kid you not, 7 working days of something else gone wrong, or just something not working, or something exploding, or you know, whatever's going on.
It's fine tuning, and I'm fine with it.
So what does the tap work then?
So if you hold it down in one spot and then turn it with your other hand, you can get it to come out.
So that's the washer then, isn't it?
The dryer.
No.
Oh, the washer on the pipe. I thought you meant because my drying machine's broken.
No, is it drying broke as well? Oh, for God's sake!
No,
I meant
the washer. No, the washer's not gone. There's no sound.
Oh,
I think the pipes just come loose down at the bottom.
So, I mean, you're selling it to me every single day.
Any DIYs you've done, Rob?
No,
to deflect.
To be fair, right? People take right. So I've got a cleaner, and she always mocks me for my painting because, you know, I painted my whole house. Well, right, okay. My argument is this. Okay, I get bored very easily. Okay, and I just rush things, and I start things with every good intention. So sometimes my cutting in might be not be the best, and sometimes I may just not cut in at all, and sometimes I may just get paint everywhere. But I consider myself a good DIY. Give me a flat pack. I fucking love flat pack.
I hate it.
No, you see, if you ever need anything flat packing, right? Let me know. I'm on it.
Threaten me with a good time. I've got some IKEA.
I'm on it. Honestly, I love flat packing. I think, you know, the basics, putting up shelves. You know, I've not done anything outrageous, but you know, the basic. Yeah. The basic dad stuff, putting up shelves, putting up furniture, painting. Yeah. You know, I built the piano bar.
Oh, of course you did.
See, I'm not that bad.
See, we are big advocates of that piano bar. It's open at the minute.
Yeah, and I can tell. So I'm not too bad. But Matt Brown did incredibly well. Loved his episode. And it's a shame because it was quite a short one because he had to dash off, unfortunately. But please do go ahead and listen to it. And hopefully maybe in the future we'll get him back for a future episode.
Absolutely.
But, should we round it up there, madam?
Let's close it off, shall
we? Is it over to me to...
It's over to you.
Try not to make noise with a script. So that is it from us. As always, make sure that you've dropped us a follow, give us a rating of 5 stars, and make sure you turn on the notifications so you never miss a thing. You can also follow us on social media. We're on @HowIFailedInBusiness on most platforms, or just search for How I Failed in Business. You'll probably find us. And on there, we share lots of exciting information. Please do go check out our latest post and tell us what you see upon Luke Beastall's beast. Okay? Right, there's a little clue for you. If you do want to be a special guest, if you want to join us on the podcast, or perhaps you've got a story that you want to share but you want to stay anonymous, that's absolutely fine. You can do one of two things. Either send us a DM on whatever platform you listen to this on, or on socials, or send us an email, howifailedinbusiness@gmail.com. And until next time,
bye.